Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Overflow Podcast at theoverflowpodcast.com. And my name is Joaquin.
I'm Jay.
And we are so glad that you have joined us today. Oi.
Yes.
Oi, mate. Oi.
Oi.
So, as always, what up, Jay?
What's good, son?
What you been up to?
I'm all right. Did you adopt two children?
I have two children. Fortunately, they came potty trained, so
Thank goodness.
I didn't have to deal with that. Even though one of them, I think I'm gonna have to buy some adult diapers for.
Depends.
You having issues, but other than that, they've been pretty good guests. Not too terrible. Makes you realize how old you are, though, because they're both 23.
Damn.
They're little babies. Little witty babies.
Little babies.
Little barbars. But, you had a pretty good weekend this weekend.
Yeah. There was a whole lot of love.
Whole lot of love going on. So we had the grill and chill.
We had the grill and chill in honor of my cumpleaños.
Which is
actually on Wednesday. Actually on Wednesday. My birthday's on Wednesday.
So Jay's going to be 55 years old.
We did a grill and chill birthday celebration on Saturday, past Saturday.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, a lot of food.
A lot of good people showed up.
Yeah.
Some surprises.
Word up.
Well, for me, the surprise was the Baron's baby. I didn't know he had a baby. I know he had a baby, but I didn't know he had a baby.
Yes. They had a baby.
So tiny little baby.
It was a surprise they showed up too because they came from far.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. That's that love. That's that love.
Yeah, we had a good.
And then Uzu came.
Right?
It was through. Right, and that I'm not gonna lie. Like I was still talking about it today. How like I had happy birthday sent to me in 4 languages on Saturday.
Yes,
right.
You did.
That's kind of dope. It's kind of dope, especially since like the conversations that, I've been having with a few people, but that you and I had about
diversity.
Trademark. No, not diversity. Oh. It's already trademarked.
Not trademarked the way I said it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the whole diversity and multiculturalism and all those conversations.
Right.
And like I was talking to the Baron today, to DJ 412, and I'm like, a lot of churches, like they pay a lot of money, right, to learn and to do programs, or to try to be intentional about trying to make their churches diverse.
Right.
And I'm just grilling.
So maybe
they should offer more food.
Should offer more. Right. So you offer more like burgers and ribs, because everybody loves burgers and ribs.
Word.
Right.
Word. And the vegetarian options for the vegetarians.
Yeah. Those people. Those people. That's what the lettuce is for. They can have the lettuce and tomatoes that goes on the burger as your food. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of friends came through. Everybody was wearing their superhero shirts. Some of the kids from Legacy Nights came through.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Good seeing them. Which, speaking of Legacy Nights, this Friday.
This Friday is Legacy Nights.
It's Glow Stick.
Yep. Glow Stick, light up the dark.
Glow Stick, light up the dark.
We're gonna start that conversation
a little later.
On the podcast, and it'll end at Legacy Nights. So
yes,
if you want to listen to part 2,
yes,
then come over to Legacy Nights and get some worship and
which
some coffee and some
could very well sound much like part 1, except a little extra adobo on it.
A little adobo.
Right.
We don't sprinkle salt. Right? We sprinkle adobo.
Adobo, baby. That's how we do it. So Sunday was dope. Had a good Sunday. Little man was invited.
Yeah. So for everybody who's always hearing us talk about Cal or Sebastian, right? You want to know what he looks like. You want to see Sebastian. Right?
Keep an eye out for the Uzuhan
Uzuhan
music video. Fila, is it the Fila?
The Fila song. which to me is like the summer anthem for Atlanta.
Right.
Right. They shot the video on Sunday, and Cal had his debut there.
Nice. So what did he do?
He just danced.
He just danced. Because it was funny because the picture you posted, you had everybody was looking in one way. He was kind of looking away. It was like, lowly Batman,
right.
lowly Cal.
He was standing there waiting for me to tell him, okay, go dance.
Gotcha.
Because they were all, that was like the practice.
Right.
Right. And he was supposed to run over to Uzu and then like dance next to Uzu.
Gotcha.
Right. So you'll see him pop in. The funny thing is that before that, I took him to McDonald's.
Right.
For a Happy Meal, whatever. So he got an Elastigirl toy.
Okay.
So he's in the music video,
holding
and showcasing the Elastigirl toy. So, hey, Disney, you're more than welcome to sponsor.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, you need to blur that out. I remember like back in the 90s with like all the caps and the starter, everything was blurry.
Disney Pixar, you can sponsor. You can sponsor my son.
But so that was cool. For me, it was an interesting weekend. So I whatever, Friday, and then Saturday went just kind of chilled. And then Saturday I had to go pick up Byron. Then I had to go up. We grilled and chilled all day, like typical. I was the last one to go, and had a lot of fun. Smoked some cigars, had some good conversation, had some good food. Jay found this sugar-free barbecue sauce. That was pretty good. And that ketchup was pretty good too.
Oh, you tried it?
Yeah, like I actually had a couple of kielbasa sausages today.
Yeah, I didn't eat.
And I dipped into it. And you know what's good though? And it's good because it's not so it's so weird. It's not so ketchupy. Doesn't have that real strong like regular ketchup.
Yeah.
It's a little lighter, which is awesome. And then Sunday went and church. I had my sons with me. So we went and ate at the bomb Brazilian steakhouse buffet. I ate enough for all three of us. So good.
First, because of the birthday grill and chill. You were a little off the keto.
I was a little off the keto because I had dessert.
Right.
And I drank adult beverages, and I drank that pina colada. The pina colada that. Just the pina colada that Magda made completely threw me off.
Forget
about it. But
I had none of that.
Well,
I didn't even really eat.
Nobody told you. Nobody told you to be out by the grill. You should have had pop out there.
I told Magda and I said that night when we were in bed, we were like, "Yo," I was like, "Yo, baby, I didn't really get to eat. I just like scraped up a little bit of the pulled pork because this was the first time that there were no leftovers. Right. And normally we have some leftovers. Yeah. First time no leftovers. Yeah. So I'm like, I just had I scraped up a bit of that pulled pork, and that's it. And she was like, I didn't eat either. I got like the chicken, just a bit of the chicken.
Well, no, when I was leaving, she's eating guac with chips, and she's complaining that chips are stale.
Right.
But she keeps eating.
Except for pie. Like I had some pie.
Yeah, that cream pie was good.
But
coconut cream pie, right? Yeah, it was good.
Custard.
But whatever. Had coconut in it. It was good.
So we're like, yo,
next
grill and chill. Next grill and chill. Wow. Well, because I cook before people come. So, as soon as the food is ready, like we need to separate plates for ourselves.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where you want to cook the food, but you want it to be hot.
Right.
You don't want it to be cold. So, yeah, so it's a weird. So the next one, here's what needs to happen. I'm going to tell you what needs to happen. This is what you need to lay down.
Dale.
This is the law. You go, listen, woman. This is what you say to Magda. That's your woman. Listen, woman. As soon as I put down the first burger patties, you make me a plate and you bring it out. And then I don't care what happens after that. But give me a plate and a couple of bones.
But that's what it was. This time I didn't toast the buns. Like normally I'm grilling and I have the buns toasting. Right. I didn't toast the buns because I had the corn grilling up there. So if I had, because I have everything outside, so if I had that, I would have just eaten a burger while I was cooking.
I do what I did on July 4th when I went to some friend's house. We had a little pool party, and My friend's brother-in-law smoked some brisket, some pork, and some salmon.
Yeah.
And as he was shredding the pork, I'm just like, oh, wait, this piece needs to be rescued. Oh, wait, this piece needs to be rescued. And then as he was cutting up the brisket, oh, wait, this piece needs to be. You see, I just kind of started the feeding. And then when everybody came back to get the real plates, I got some more, right? That's what you do. That's what you do, homie.
Yeah, but it was a really dope weekend.
Yeah, it was great. It was great, too. I got to hang out with these guys. And like I said, we went.
So you didn't say these guys. These guys are
Andy and Andy.
Andy and Andy. Andy O is
the rapper.
Is a Christian rapper or something.
The rapper
or
who
a rapper
pretends to be a Christian. I'm not quite sure what we do with Andy.
Right? And then Andy too is his producer
/ DA.
DJ word.
DJ. So we went out and like I said, I said, well, there's like these Brazilian buffets, and Andy O, his eyes lit up because he's one of those Brazilians. So Brazilians.
His favorite actor is Vin Diesel.
Coined.
Coined.
So we went to the buffet. Dude, we got to go to the buffet. Like, I'm going to go now that I know where it's at. You're invited whenever I go if you want to tag along because it was good. Then I took these guys to look for some records. Because Andy, the producer.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Andy, the producer, wants to start collecting. So I took him to, one of my antique malls where they got the booth, and then I took him to Second and Charles.
Nice.
And what was cool, I was so excited. Second and Charles, I found a copy of E.D. Gourmet and Trio Los Panchos, one of their albums.
Oh, get out.
So that's like the second one of theirs I have.
That's so dope.
I was so excited. I was so excited.
And you just couldn't hide it?
I couldn't hide it. I'm about to lose control.
You can't lose control right now. We got the podcast.
Okay. So then that was it. It was good. A good Sunday.
Yeah,
it's always nice when it's a good weekend, right?
Always. That's what all weekends should be.
So
good.
So boop. Now on to the news portion of the podcast.
Which one is this one? Oh yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna
sad news.
So we got some sad news. We're gonna go sad. Then we're gonna go, oh my goodness.
And then we're gonna go what the? We're gonna do our what the?
Then we're gonna what the? Yes. What the? So the first thing is this week, the Spider-Man creator, Steve Ditko, passed away.
Steve Ditko passed away
at 90 years old. So he wasn't a young man.
So yeah, he lived
a long life,
healthy and wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah, so he was found dead in his Manhattan studio on June 29th, believed to have died 2 days prior to his discovery.
Yeah.
The famed Marvel artist has no known survivors and is believed to never have married. See, that's my fear. So Ditko is responsible for imagining Spider-Man's iconic red and blue costume as well as his trademark web shooters. With Lee, Ditko penned such enduring foes as the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Sandman, and the Vulture, all of whom have appeared in numerous Spider-Man movies that have earned a lifetime total of nearly $5 billion, with a B, dollars.
The thing with
all around the world. And
the thing with Ditko is that what a lot of people don't know about Steve Ditko is two things. Like a lot of times he would put himself like in the comic books,
right?
Like a caricature of himself or whatever. But fun fact, the Peter Parker persona of Steve Ditko was largely based on himself.
Oh.
Right, a lot of the stories and like the insecurities that I'm talking about originally, right? The original Peter Parker, that he was like the nerdy, bullied kid. Like a lot of that, Steve Ditko pulled that from his own life, and even to the point where the way Peter Parker looked originally was basically Steve Ditko.
Oh, okay.
Check it out.
Nice. Nice. And then Ditko, and here at the end of the article, Ditko also created the question for Charlton Comics, which I think ended up being absorbed into DC.
DC, yeah.
And DC Comics superheroes Captain Atom, crime fighting team Hawk and Dove,
Yeah, he created Hawk and Dove.
and the Creeper.
Get out. He created the Creeper?
Yeah.
I was just explaining the Creeper to somebody today because they were like, what? I thought that was the Joker. I was like, no, he kind of looks like the Joker, but the Creeper's actually a good guy. Like, there's no way. Yeah, he's actually a good guy.
So that's pretty good. Captain Atom, Captain Atom, Hawk and Dove, and the Creeper.
Yeah, Hawk and Dove is
Booyah.
dope.
So now we like him because
Now he's on our
those
side.
are DC.
Right? Because now he's on our side.
And Spider. And Spider.
And
speaking
and
of-
remember, Hawk and Dove,
Yes, are going to
On the
appear in
Titans
Titans.
show.
So he's going to come out later this year. So with that Spider-Man kind of being the thing, we're going to kind of throw this out there. It was revealed this week, and we're not going to really hang on it, but it was revealed this week that Spider-Man, the Spider-Man 2, will take place after Avengers Infinity War 4 or whatever Avengers 4 is called. So it's going to take place after. So I guess it's going to be him trying to get home.
Far from home, right?
Far from home. Trying to get to New York.
He's in a spaceship just looking down at the earth.
It's like, oh, Mr. Stark.
But also,
So, yeah.
what you guys told me, comedian JB Smoove
Was
joins the Far From Home cast,
In a major role.
right? Major role. They haven't announced
yet.
what or who he'll play, but he'll be there.
So, pretty cool. So now let's go ahead on to the
super sad news.
Second story. Now, as always, and we always say this because it's always important. We always like to point out anytime we find stories of persecution going on around the world, because we feel it's important. You know, we always want to make sure that we keep a proper perspective. That just because somebody, they always use the example, right? Just because somebody says to us, "Hey, take your cross and put it inside your shirt at work," that's not like hardcore.
That's not real persecution,
right? But when lives are in danger, that's where real persecution, right, comes in. So,
correct.
This article, actually, I got it from Ray. He posted it. And this is from CBN News. And the title is pretty brutal. The title is "Children Murdered in Their Beds. Nigeria Now the Deadliest Place to Be a Christian." And so, did you read the article?
I read the article.
So basically, and it actually, very first sentence kind of gives you the idea. It says, "A new wave of attacks by Fulani herdsmen against Christians is leading one international human rights advocate to call on the U.S. Congress to appoint a special envoy to investigate. Nigeria is now the deadliest place in the world to be a Christian. What we have is a genocide. They're trying to displace the Christians. They're trying to possess their land, and they're trying to impose their religion on the so-called infidels and pagans who they consider Christians to be." And this was by attorney Emmanuel Ogebe.
Who lost family.
Yes. So 2 weeks ago, 230. And I'm just kind of going through it because this is really the best way to highlight this, right? 2 weeks ago, 238 people were killed in a village massacre in north-central Nigeria. 6 of Ogebe's relatives were among the victims. From what we have been able to, and this is him speaking, from what we have been able to piece together, the husband and his pregnant wife, he tried to take her out of the house to safety and come back for the kids. But they ran into the herdsmen along the way, and they shot him and his pregnant wife, and they went into the home and killed 4-year-old and 6-year-old. 4-year-old son, 6-year-old daughter, who were asleep in their beds. Ogebe said he was told that authorities would not allow the corpses of his relatives to be taken away for separate burial. Instead, they were buried in a mass grave with the other victims.
It's a sad thing, right? It's a sad thing because, man, let me just say it, right? We, for the most part, we Christians here in the United States are so disconnected from our brothers and sisters in the rest of the world, right? We're so disconnected, and we're so focused on the whole Trump thing and the whole presidency thing and the whole whatever nonsense, and getting so caught up in all this ridiculousness that we got to dig through news to find out that 238 Christians were killed
And that's 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Like,
you know
that's
what I mean?
not...
You know what I mean? Like, people are fighting because of who Trump is going to nominate as a new Supreme Court justice. Meanwhile, we got brothers and sisters in Africa, Nigeria, getting murdered in their sleep just because they're believers, just because they believe in Jesus, right? The article goes on to say that they also attacked a Catholic church while service was on, while the priest was performing mass.
Correct.
And they killed everybody that was there. And then they attacked an Anglican church and killed one person, right? It's this, meanwhile, you're like, Trump.
We're so angry,
you really got to get your focus, right? What is it? Jackie Chan, the new Karate Kid, right? Your focus needs more focus.
Yes.
Right? We need to realize that, yes, I'm not saying do not be angry and do not, try to do something to speak out against injustice here. But let's remember that we have brothers and sisters in the kingdom being murdered elsewhere in the world, right? That we can also focus on.
And I'm going to leap into that, briefly mention a couple of things kind of around that. Number one is, let's not forget Nicaragua. We have brothers and sisters in Nicaragua. Right now, there's a lot of civil unrest. Between there were protests because of cuts in pensions and Social Security, which were announced in April, and that quickly descended into violence, with more than 200 people reported to have lost their lives so far.
Wow. Yeah. I when you first mentioned that, I was like, I don't even know what's going on. But then I remembered just this afternoon, Julia Rivera, she posted.
Right.
Because, she goes there a lot. Well, she used to. But she goes there a lot. So she's like, I know you've been there.
Yeah.
But
and the town that we would go to, that the church would go to work at the children's home, was one of the towns attacked over the weekend.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. She was saying how a lot of the people that she's connected to that have phones, like phones are dead. They've been dead for days.
Yeah.
Right? And, she's like, most times you try to call a friend, right? And the phone is dead. You just think that they let the battery die, or they turned off the ringer, or they turned off the phone, whatever. But like she's actually worried for the lives of these friends because of all of the civil unrest and all of the murders. Because from my understanding, they're just killing people. Day and night.
You got pro government forces and police and whatever, and they're basically going after anyone that's protesting against Ortega. Who's the president? They're just going after them, attacking them. So let's remember Nicaragua in our prayers. We have a friend, Karen, who's still there.
Yes.
And then I know a girl who would do a translation. She was this Canadian girl who did translation for the mission groups that would come through.
Right.
And she was married to a Nicaraguan. She just had a baby, and I don't think the baby was about a few months, even if that, and they were already fled. They left because it was just getting too dangerous.
And then the kids in the orphanage that Vineyard sponsors, right?
So there's not just those kids, but just
everyone, everyone.
So let's remember. So let's remember the believers in Nigeria.
So while you're crying because of something new that Trump said, right?
Right.
Some new word that he said, or something new that was misconstrued, right? Let's remember there are people that are being murdered in Nigeria just because they're Christians, right? And there are people being murdered in Nicaragua because they spoke out. You see, perspective, right? Because people here speak out all the time, and all they do is get pushed. All they get is pushback on social media. People in Nicaragua are speaking out, right, and pushing back on an injustice done to them by the government, and they're getting murdered.
Right. They're not getting pushed back. They're getting murdered. And then let's also remember there's some. There are I think it's 3 mission teams that are stuck in Haiti right now due to the civil unrest going on in Haiti. Right. There was violence broke out this weekend, over the weekend, because they raised the gas prices. So that was part of it. So there are 3 teams. One of them was from Perry, the town that I went to high school in, I grew up in. And so they're still there. Now they're safe from everything that I've been able to pull. Fine, they're safe because they're away from where the violence is, but they just can't get to the airport so that they can come home. So let's remember. Let's also try to remember that when we think about it. So that's a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
All right, it's a lot of hip stuff.
And on that note,
But like Jay said, perspective. But on that note, what the heck am I reading here? So I found this article, and I sent it to Jay and Angel. So this article was on the 5th. And I'm just going to read the headline before we dive into it. This is the headline. Police. Pair, high on bath salts, fired gun at fireflies, mistaking them for alien lasers. And so these two people, 30-year-old Jesse Shields and 22-year-old Catherine McCloskey, were high on suspected bath salts during a bizarre chain of events early Saturday morning. So this is last Saturday. Not this past Saturday, but the one before. According to investigations, the pair had a bad trip and thought fireflies were green lasers coming from aliens who were after them. And so they took out a revolver. The guy took out his revolver and he started shooting at the aliens. Now, the kind of funny messed up part is, so they go to this house and they're knocking on the door, call the police. Call the police. And one of the guys, the guy was Jesse. The guy was like, "Hey, can I, I can't even believe it. State police say that the owner of the home, one of the homes they went to, was able to get the gun from Shields, who asked if he could take a shower to get the goo off his body because it was burning his skin. So, the aliens that he killed, right, when you kill, splashed on him, and the goo was. So, kids.
The imaginary goo.
Yeah. Kids, stay off drugs.
Stay off drugs.
Stay off drugs. Don't,
Get your bath salts from Lush. You drop them in the water.
Right. If you're gonna
it fizzes,
listen, and take your bath, right?
Take a bath with them.
Take a nice bath. Relax. Those are the only bath salts you need to be worried about. But man, what was that? What was from the Chappelle skit? Was it drugs? Or was it drugs? They're a hell of a thing, or something like that.
Wait. I got before we go into the next thing. What is the next thing?
Don't
do drugs.
Our man.
Okay, so before we go into the next thing,
Yeah.
I've got a news flash.
Uh-oh.
This just in.
Just across the news desk.
Millions of girls' hearts broken tonight because Justin Bieber got engaged.
Yeah. And you know whose daughter he got engaged to?
Stephen
Baldwin. the Christian Baldwin.
Haley Baldwin. Yes.
I didn't know that until I read earlier today that I saw, because obviously, right, that's big news, right? So I saw it.
Right.
And I was like, so I was reading this stuff, and it was like, oh, that's his daughter. That's Baldwin's daughter. I didn't know that.
I Juice texted me and said, "Yo, Justin Bieber got engaged," and I'm like,
Why is Juice following that?
No, because I think he follows Bieber, since he started putting out more Christian content and Christian covers. So I'm like,
all right, if you guys could look at me now, my face is on skeptical.
But listen, right? So I'm like, right, thinking that thinking I don't know, whatever, thinking that it was Selena Gomez again.
Right. No.
Right.
Selena.
Just for whatever, right? And then before I left work, I looked it up.
Yeah.
Right? And I saw that it was Haley Baldwin. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he married the Christian Baldwin's daughter.
The Christian Baldwin's daughter.
Who
incidentally,
I actually know.
Oh, Jay met him.
I actually know. So I'm gonna have to hit Stephen Baldwin up so I can get invited to the wedding. Who?
That's gonna be him when you reach out to him.
It's like,
who?
It's like new phone. Who this?
Even better. Who gave you my number?
True story though. True story. Somewhere, I think Junie's mom has it. Somewhere, I have a picture of myself, Baldwin, Junie, and his daughter.
When she was like 12?
when they came here, when he used to have the skateboard ministry.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like, hey, it was one of those, what are you doing here? Oh, I moved to Georgia. What are you doing here? I was like, well, this is me. Right. This is my ministry. Right? It was one of those things. So,
All
Yeah,
right.
it's pretty dope.
So who this?
Don't you remember me?
Out of that story, he gonna look at you. He gonna look at you like Sammy Rodriguez looked at you. It's gonna take him 15 minutes.
I think Sammy Rodriguez looked at me like that because he thought I was stalking him.
Remember me?
Because later on Facebook, like he apologized. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, you look kind of crazy.
Right.
I am crazy.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's like he goes, let me apologize to this guy before he shows up to
No, it was on a thread that Ray started.
Oh, okay.
Right. So then it was like I think seeing me on that thread and everybody else, I think that's what like lit up the bulb.
The dim bulb. All right.
But whatever, it's dead to me.
Dead to me. It's not about who you know. It's what have you done for me lately. All right. So on to the media or the video audio portion of the program.
What?
Video audio portion? I don't know.
Man, on to the pop culture portion of the
On to
program.
the pop culture of the program. movie part of the program.
Right.
So this week, our dude, our homie, who doesn't know us yet, we're gonna tweet him, and then he'll say, "Who this?"
Like, new Twitter account. Who this?
The Rock is coming out with his third movie of
The year.
the year.
Hardest working man in Hollywood.
Hardest working man in Hollywood. He's got a new movie coming out. And as always, you know, the trailer will be on the site. This is outcry.com. Skyscraper, or as I like to call it, The Rock Does Die Hard.
The Rock does Die Hard with a
fake
leg and a half.
with a fake leg. Dun dun dun.
No. Jumanji was last year. Jumanji was
Jumanji?
2017. Yeah. It looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, so I guess this is his second movie. Still, two movies in
Still
1
two
year.
movies in 1 year, right?
Who's put out 2 movies in 1 year? Let's not even talk about that. But
Yeah, we're not gonna go down that
that
hole.
rabbit hole. So it's The Rock, who plays a security guy. I think he was like a DA agent or FBI or something.
I think
Loses
he
a
was
leg
like
in a
ex-military or
raid.
something.
And he becomes a security consultant. Security consultant in this building. When these bad guys show up.
These best guys.
Best guys. Not the best guys, but the best guys. They show up and they're trying to get something from
he's
the...
a former FBI hostage rescue team leader.
Boom.
And a war veteran. We were both right.
Yeah. And so they get his family, and he's trying to save his family from the building, and the building starts on fire. It's like one of the tallest buildings in the world. It's set in like Hong Kong or China or somewhere. And, well, Hong Kong or China, right? It's the same place.
It's the same place.
Okay, so when the first time the trailer came out, all of us were kind of like, wait a minute, The Rock's doing Die Hard? Because I remember he talked about this movie. He was like, oh yeah, this is a movie, like it's different, you know, it's an original movie and blah 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 blah. And then I'm like, oh, I see what the original part is. The fake leg.
The fake leg. The prosthetic. But a familiar face that I haven't seen in a long time is in this movie. That I saw in the trailer. I was like, whoa, I haven't seen that chick since Scream.
Selma Blair, right?
No, Neve Campbell.
Neve Campple. That's who it is. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no idea who you're talking about. Neve Campbell. I was like, hey, look what's
that.
Hey. I haven't seen that chick since Scream.
Hey, she's back. So all I know is that I'm excited to see it. I'll probably watch it this weekend. Thank you, Movie Pass. It's about to go bankrupt.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get myself a Movie Pass.
Yeah, before they go bankrupt.
Are they? Is that a thing?
Well, they were trying to raising some money now. Yeah, they started doing all kinds of other things, but we'll talk about that off the air. But I will say this: I did see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Dude, he has another movie coming out.
When?
In September.
What is it?
Fighting with My Family.
Ooh, probably, it sounds like a comedy.
I don't know. I'm just saying that he has another movie coming out.
It's the sequel to Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy movie he did.
Oh, and no, but the spin-off of the Fast and the Furious comes out next year.
That's right. They're working on that now.
Yep.
Okay, so I saw that Man the Wasp. I really liked
The
it.
Rock might not be back for Fast and Furious 9 or whatever it's gonna end up called because he's still beefing with Vin Diesel.
Yo, him and Vin Diesel. And the thing is, Vin Diesel needs The Rock more than The Rock needs Vin Diesel right now.
Yeah, he said he doesn't like his working ethic. He has bad work ethic.
Yeah, and that's one thing The Rock, if you follow The Rock on social media, like on Instagram,
Right.
that dude will be in the gym at like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, like lifting heavy
But
weights.
Three movies in 1 year
In 1 year.
shows his work ethic.
Yes.
Right.
He's a hard working man.
Right. The fact that his ex-wife still manages him.
Right.
Right.
Means he's a really nice guy.
Right. Not only means he's a really nice guy, but also shows that he has good work ethic.
That he's got great work ethic.
She stays paid.
Yep.
Right. Because she's still his manager.
So she can't stay mad.
She's still his manager.
And getting that alimony.
No. Listen. She's still his manager, and his production company is with her brother. That $5 or whatever it's called.
Right.
It's with her brother.
Nice.
Right,
So there
so-
you go. The Rock is the man. We all should aspire to be a little more like The Rock. I'm gonna look like him in about give me another 5 years.
A shorter version.
A shorter, whiter,
Wider version.
whiter version. And then we can do twins. We'll do the twins reboot.
Oh my God, Rock! If you're listening, the Twins reboot. You and Joaquin, let's make it happen.
We can do the twins reboot now.
Dude.
Because remember?
Right, that's right.
That's right.
Yo,
Danny DeVito.
I'm gonna Photoshop that thing.
Oh,
I'm gonna
do it.
Photoshop that thing.
And
I'm gonna tag.
that'd be-
I'm gonna tag him on it. I'm gonna tag the both of you on it.
That'd be hilarious.
Make this happen.
We got to become friends with The Rock.
Make this happen. You and this guy.
We're coming for you, Rock.
And if he does it without you, I'm gonna sue him because that idea was mine.
No, that was my idea. We're coming. The poster was yours. We'll pay you for the poster. We'll pay you. Like I've already written you out. That's my podcast buddy.
Yeah, I just know him from the podcast.
He'd be like, who this? New number.
New phone,
Who this?
DK, hey Theo. I don't know you.
I don't know you. Who's this little girl?
Oh, you
I'm a
suck
boy.
so hard.
So Skyscraper, for those of you that are Rock fans, check it out. It'll be entertaining. It might not be the greatest movie ever,
Man, everybody's a Rock fan.
but it'll be entertaining. And so now that leads us right into, as always, the new release today, pick of the week. So, a person that we all like, right? Person that me and Jay like here at the Overflow podcast, Martin Smith, who was the lead singer of Delirious, who you could make the argument were the guys that kind of jumped off the whole modern
Worship,
praise and worship thing. He's got a new album coming out, and find the name of it because I lost it.
Oh, I lost it too.
It's called something. I can't remember. Love Song for the City.
Oh, there you go.
Love Song for the City. He's got coming out. And so the song that we it's coming out Friday. So the song that we picked is the newest single. It's Jesus Only You. It's an acoustic version of the song. There's an official video for it, so that'll also be up on the website. So check it out. It's a great little song.
It is.
But we're also we're a little biased because we like Martin Smith. So new release today, song of the week, Jesus Only You by Martin Smith, which will be coming off his new album, Love Song for the City, July 13th. Please make sure to check it out. Dun, dun, dun. So now,
What was that?
I don't know. I just felt like I needed a little tag there at the end of it. So Pastor Jay, we now hand it over to you. What have you got for us today?
You know what we have learned. All right, so check this out, man.
1 2 1 2.
In the place to be. In the place to be. Wow.
What?
Nothing. We're actually like making good time.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes. Yes.
right, as we said earlier, as Joaquin said earlier, we're gonna do glow stick. What do you say? Glow stick Friday
Close.
for
I did say that.
you did.
I'm
say
a genius at marketing. Don't even know it. So what you got?
that. Glow stick Friday for worship night, right?
Yes.
And let me expand on that a little. Let me put on my glow stick Friday expansion hat.
All right. So we're going from this is Jay to what up, Pastor Jay?
Yo, what's good?
Hit
All right,
it.
So check this out. A lot of us have read, right, what, the whole salt and light verses in the Bible, right? And we're going to focus on the light portion, right? We're going to leave the salt for another time.
Right.
Right. We're going to focus on the light portion.
You got
of
high
this
blood pressure.
one, right? Because and we've heard we've heard a lot of interpretations, and
Correct.
And for the most part, you can really only interpret this one way.
One way.
Right. Just one way. One way, Jesus.
Which was a rap group, Christian rap group back in the 90s. Anyway, go ahead.
That one I don't know.
One way group.
Right. Was that me or you?
That was me.
Okay.
I think.
So hold on. Let me now that happened, let me
Oh, yeah. Let's
take
ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and put your phones on silent right now so that you don't get distracted.
hey, let's turn your phones off, put it on
Beep.
silent. Put it on silent so you can go to the scripture, right? So scripture, Matthew 5, 13 and 16, right? You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men.
Stomp,
Right?
stomp, stomp, stomp.
Stop. Right? Right? You're so dumb. And I followed you. Right? Right? You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. All right, we're going to focus on the light portion of it,
Okay.
right? A city on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Now, we always hear, right, the interpretation of this about, hey, don't shine your light. I mean, don't shine your light. You got to shine your light. You got to shine your light. You got to shine your light.
Correct.
But, here at the Overflow podcast, we do what we want.
Right. And we're like, shine. Let them one know what you got.
Which is actually based on this verse, right? Right? So here we're going to talk about something else. Right? It's still about shining your light. But we're going to talk about those of us whose light has a dimmer switch.
Ooh.
Damn, I just came up with
Ooh, let's write that down.
that. Right? I just came up with
Light,
that.
dimmer switch.
I just came up with that, right? Who's like, and you know who I'm talking about, right? We have a lot of people.
Yeah, we know you, John. We're talking about you, John. There's no John. There's no John. I don't know. It's the person that popped into my head. It's like you. We all know who we're talking about. That's right, Leroy. It's you. We're calling names out today.
Oh my god. No, he doesn't listen to this podcast. I have a brother named Leroy. But anyway, listen.
What's his last name? Jenkins.
No, it's Brown. Right? So
all right, go ahead.
right? So and this is the deal, right? I mean, the scripture is clear. Right? That's like this is that portion of scripture, one of the many portions of scripture where you can't like interpret this in any other way.
Right.
Right? There's not like myriad interpretations.
Ooh.
There's not like a bunch of different ways that you can see this.
Right.
Like it's clear, right?
Yes.
Let your light shine. Don't put it under a bed. In other words,
Right.
don't hide it. Don't dim it.
Right.
Right? Let it be out there. But a lot of us, we put a dimmer on our light because you want to be accepted by people around us.
Correct.
Right? And we feel that, and that's where we get confused about what relationship with the world is, right? Because scripture says that we have no business with the world, right? And at the same time, we have to shine our light so that they can see. So the only business that we have with the world or with darkness, right, is shining our light to them so that they can be drawn to the light.
Like
right?
moths
And
to the
that-
flame.
Like moths to the flame. And that light is Jesus in you. So if your light is not brightly lit because you have a dimmer switch and you're going to push it down, right? So it could stay like almost like blended.
Right.
Blended, right? Blended Christians. No,
No, it
no,
doesn't work.
no, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Right? So you can stay blended, right? And then somebody else comes with their light, right? Then those people will be drawn to the Christ in them because you are hiding or trying to hide the Christ in you, right? For
Right.
whatever reason that is. Right? Especially in these days and times where even here in the States where it rarely were believers or Christians persecuted here in the United States, but now more often than not, right, we're getting attacked and we're getting persecuted here as well, right? Not in the same fashion.
Same fashion.
Not in the same fashion
Well,
as
sometimes,
in Africa, but
sometimes we're getting attacked by, as a friendly fire, right? By our own people. Like, we don't even need non-believers attacking us, because our own people are attacking us. What's up with that?
Yeah, not so friendly, right? But I mean that's normal because even we can even find that in Scripture where Christians attacked other Christians, right? But the deal is this, right? I was on Facebook, and
Devil.
and my mom, she puts up this story, right? And the story goes that somebody was online, right? And there was a family in front of them of a mom and 2 kids, and the older son had a bunch of glow sticks,
Ooh.
and the youngest son was crying because he wanted one. So the older brother went and gave his younger brother a glow stick.
Right.
Right, so the kid was happy, whatever. They were walking out the store, and the older brother snatched the glow stick away from his younger brother,
Jerk.
which made him like start screaming and crying and pitch a fit, right? And the older brother went and broke the glow stick,
Like to get him. Like,
right?
ha.
And then gave it back to his younger brother, who stayed crying and upset because you broke my glow,
You
you
broke
broke
my
my
glow.
toy, you broke my toy,
Right.
my stick, whatever, right?
Jerk.
So when they went outside, that it was nighttime, the glow stick was lit up.
It was glowing.
Right, it was glowing. That's what it is. Right, it was glowing.
In stick form.
Which the little brother was like stood in awe, like, oh wow, that's so awesome, right?
Ha ha.
And my mom goes on to say, a lot of times we believers go through things that breaks us, right? And it's in that brokenness where we can shine, where our light shines brightest, right? Because if that glow stick in the little brother's hand, right, was not broken, right, then he would not see the actual value of that glow stick.
Of the glow stick, right.
Because if it's not on, then it's nothing. It's nothing but a plastic stick,
Right.
right? It's nothing. But when you break it and you set off whatever chemical reaction that's in there,
Right.
so that the fluorescence can shine, right, that's when it has value.
Right. Now it becomes useful. You can use it to entertain yourself. You can use it to wave someone down if you're in trouble, right? You
Right.
usually have someone in your car, 'cause that way if you breaks down, you can and wave it so
Right.
people know you're there.
So if we're bringing this into, right, if we're going to Jesus juke this, right,
Uh-oh.
as we normally do,
you
even those of us who don't have like a story, like a testimony where you have gone through a lot of things and you suffered through a lot of things, right? No matter what that is, no matter what your story is, there is a breaking, right? There is a breaking because who you were. Right. Even if you weren't as bad as me, because I know I was horrible.
Right.
But even you were not as
if
bad
you were
as
as
me,
good as me, because I was an angel.
who you were still needs to be broken before Jesus,
Right.
so that the old you can die and you be made new in His image.
Correct.
Right. And you let His light shine in you and through you, and that light brings other people to you because of Him and what He's done in you.
Right.
Right. So when you dim that light. Right, you dim that light. What you're actually doing is making Jesus less accessible through your life and through your walk.
Right.
Right, and that's not what we're called to do.
Makes sense.
Right, that's not what we're called to do. We are light bearers. Right, we are light bringers. We are called, right, through this great commission that Jesus left us to bring the light to the world. Right, to be a city on a hill. Right, and that's the thing. Right, I every time I go to work, I go through Lower Roswell Road. Right, and I drive past Eastside Baptist.
Okay.
Right, and there's a I love it. There's a part of my road of my trip, right, when I stay on Lower Roswell, right, where Eastside Baptist in the rearview mirror is right in the center of the town.
Okay.
Right, and you can see the steeple. Right, and we all know historically, when people settled in the place, the first thing that was built
was the church.
Was the church at the highest hill, right? In the highest hill, they built the church first,
Right, center
and
of
then That was the center of the town. And then around the church, they built the houses, they built the city, and they kept spreading out, right? Because they had the light on, right, at the steeple, right? Before they started putting crosses on steeples, they would put a light on the steeple so that people know that there's a church, and there they will find hope, and they will find sanctuary, and they will find help, right? That was the way it was back in the day. Now churches are closed, right? That's how it was.
Got expensive equipment and get stolen.
That's how it was back in the day, right? So that's why, like, it's a biblical thing where Jesus says that we are a city on a hill, right? The city on a hill, like the church on the hill, is the highest point where people know that you look up, like in Psalm 121, like up to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who created the heavens and the earth, right? So you look up the hill to the highest point, you find a church, you find light, you find help, right?
Correct.
So that is, we as believers, right, we now carry this light. We now bear his light so that people can see us as the source for help, because we can share God's light that shines through us so that all can see. So you need to take that dimmer off, right? Our light should not have a dimmer, right? The best thing, the best example that I can use, right, is the impact that light makes in a dark room.
Right.
Right? In a dark room, everything's dark and you can't see anything. And if somebody lights a match, right, it lights up the entire room.
Right. But then I show it with a flashlight and I really light up that room.
I thought you were gonna add something.
No, they did add something. A brighter light. I took your dim light and I made it brighter. But you know what I keep thinking of, what popped into my head as you were talking about, you know, the idea of light. You know, and it's a picture that we've all seen before. You know, the lighthouse.
Yes.
Right. The lighthouse. You know, it's turned on at night as a beacon, right, to guide ships in and to warn them, so that they can see. Oh, look, don't go this way because there's, you know, rocks or you might get grounded or you destroy the, you know. And then, but they're even more important, right? Not when the night sky is clear, but they're even more important when there's fog, when there's rain, when there's storm. And we always like to talk about, you know, Jesus, you know, kind of being like, you know, the shelter in the storm, kind of, you know, like that he will,
right, the anchor in the storm.
and he'll pull us out and he'll protect us and he'll do these things. And it's like, yes, Jesus does those things, but guess what? For people to be able to come to Jesus, they need to see that light so that they can navigate, you know, those dark times.
Yeah, like,
you know, if the lighthouse dims the light,
a beacon in the night, right,
you know,
or a beacon in your storm, a beacon in your trial.
You know,
right?
Because if the lighthouse dims their light, what happens? The ships are gonna wreck.
Yes.
You know, a few might make it, and it might be more out of luck than anything. But you can't dim the light in the lighthouse, because then it puts others in danger. And so what danger are we putting people in by not shining our light? The danger of eternal damnation, the danger of not being with the Father when they pass. Because that's the ultimate danger, Pastor Jae. Ultimate danger, Pastor Jae.
danger. Right? So, you know, we say a lot on the podcast that we live in a fallen world, right? We live in a dark and fallen world. And the only hope for this world is the light of Christ. Mm-hmm. Right? To shine in the darkness.
To make them wonder what you have.
Right? But the light of Christ is shine brightest, right, when it's shined through us, his believers.
Yes.
Right? We are the light bearers. Right? We are his light bearers here in this world, right? And dude, like, break your dimmer. Right? Break your dimmer. Right?
But raise it up first,
right?
then break it.
Raise it all the way
And
up.
don't break
right?
it, and you're still dimmed.
Right? Raise it all the way up and then break, right? Because right, man, I have I have a buddy of mine whose story as far as coming to Christ. Well, he came to Christ when he was a teenager, but he would never really tell people, right, about Jesus and what Jesus has done and whatever, right, or why his life changed, right? He would never really tell people. And then his best friend died, right? And what drives him now, what motivates him, right, to tell everyone is the fact that he never talked to his best friend about Jesus.
Right.
Right. He never told his best friend about Christ. Right. And that pushed him. Right. Because we sometimes we want to be so relevant. Right. We want to be so
we
relevant.
hate that word here at the Overflow podcast.
We want to be so relevant, and we want to talk, Jesus is about relationship and not religion. And we're so focused on building relationship and hanging out and going to the parties, right? And going out to eat together and whatever, right? That we don't bring up Jesus.
Right.
Right? We forget about the religion part, right? Because we know here on the podcast we say that Christianity is a religion, right?
Yes.
And there are things that we do, right? And we have to, what is it? Pure and undefiled religion is to love the orphan and the widowed, right? And love the least of these, and there are commandments and there are rights and things, right? And we're so focused on building relationship. We got a 20-year relationship with someone, and they don't even know that we're Christians, right? So in your pursuit of relevance, you're actually poisoning that relationship that you've been building, right? Because you're not talking to them about Christ, right? And they'll get lost in their sins. After you built with them 20 years, they will still die and be lost in their sins, and that's on you. And I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm putting that pressure. That's on you, right? Because 20 years and no talk of Jesus, because you're trying to build relationship. That's not your job. The Great Commission is to go out and build relationships with people. The Great Commission is to go out and spread the gospel, right? Go out and make disciples, right? Telling them everything that we've learned through Christ or from Christ, which is in Scripture, right? Red letters, right? Baptizing in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit throughout all the world. Right? That's the Great Commission. The Great Commission isn't, hey, be friends with everybody and then eventually talk about me. Right? That's not what Jesus came and died for. That's not why he made such a mark in your life, right? That you're keeping it from your neighbor. You're keeping it from people you come across just because you want to be relevant.
Right. And it seems like I'm going to venture this guess. Tell me how far off I am. If you're pursuing a faith, right? If you're pursuing a relationship with Jesus, and you're pursuing it with the mindset of I'm going to let my light shine, right?
Right.
Then you don't have to think about building relationships, because Jesus built relationships, but he didn't build relationships and then tell them about his message. He built relationships as he was telling them about his message.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So it's not that you don't build don't get it twisted if you want to, you're saying we shouldn't be friends with. No. You be friends and you build all the relationships you can in your life. Right? But you're building it with the mindset of I'm going to let who I am in Christ shine. Right? And those relationships will be built. Those relationships that God will draw in. And even those that you might not develop relationships, but when things go down, when things are rough, you're the one that they're reaching out to. Jay's talked about, Jay's got brothers that aren't believers. But who's the first person they reach out to when stuff starts getting starts getting rough?
And you say that, right? And this is what brought on the friendship with Stephen Baldwin. Right? I asked him, like, dude, as another guy that has a lot of brothers, right? who also are
Not as famous, but
right,
but got brothers.
who also are not believers, right? Well, except for Alec, right? Who are also not believers. Like, how do you do to reach them? Right? How do you do to reach them? Because I try to reach out to my brothers, right? And I mean my own brothers, ridicule and threats,
Right.
right? And I don't need to tell you who to who, because you know my brothers enough to know who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? But right, and he was one to tell me, hey, I get the same thing, and at least your brothers aren't famous. My brother ridicules me on national TV all the time, right? And I'm like, all right, so what do you do? It's like, the only thing we can do, you pray. Right? You pray. You pray for your brothers.
Got to.
Right? You pray for your brothers.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I pray for my brothers all the time. Right? I'll pray for your brothers. Right? You just got to pray for your brothers. Right? And that's what we do. And remember that, you know, if we're talking kingdom, as Jesus said, right? As Jesus said when they came to him, it's like, oh, your mother and your brothers and sisters are outside. Right? And Jesus said, you know, hey, the people around me, right? The people that I'm with right now, the people around me, these are all my brothers and my sisters, right? Those are red letters. These are all my brothers and my sisters, right? So everyone around you are your brothers and your sisters, right? So we need to pray for everyone we come in contact with, right? But we also need to be diligent and desperate, right? Be desperate in letting everyone see his light shine through us so they can see the good works that God has done in us. That's our job. So as Joaquin said, lift your dimmer all the way up so that your light is bright.
Then break it.
And then break it off so that your light can shine brightly for everyone to see. For everyone to see the good things that God has done in you.
That's it. Not much else to say except anyone out there, you're more than welcome to come eat at the Brazilian Steakhouse with me. And
if you're in Georgia.
We'll break steak.
And
what's that? Go ahead.
And the worship night on Friday.
Yes. All right. So
for part 2.
So enough of the jokes, Jay. Yeah. So as Jay said, let your light shine everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, let your light shine. Legacy nights on Friday. The song, trailers, articles will all be linked at the Overflow Podcast.com. Glad you joined us today. We love you guys as always. I'm Joaquin.
Still Jay.
And that's it. Good night, peeps. Mwah, mwah.